Hi, my name is Shane, and welcome to the Hard Money Hard Knocks podcast. Today, we'll be having the Bitcoin Reading Center guys on, Jed, Allen, and Lauren. So, look forward to talking with them and seeing what's going on in Northern California. Right now, the current Bitcoin price is $20,384. $1 could buy you 4,906 sats, and the current block height is 742,757. So with that, Hard Money, Hard Knocks is a podcast dedicated to shine light on Bitcoiners working hard to improve adoption in their community. I've run a couple meetup here in Knoxville, and I just love what the meetups do for the Bitcoin space. And I just think they're going to be a vital part of Bitcoin growing overall. So I just want to try to shine some light on some Bitcoiners working hard behind the scenes, doing Satoshi's work, and just try to give them a spotlight that maybe they aren't used to having a chance to have access to. So with that, I'm going to bring on the guys from the Reading Bitcoin Center. Got Alan, Jed, and Lauren. What's happening, guys? Welcome. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Awesome. Pleasure to be here. It's awesome. Yeah, I agree.
So,
this is amazing.
Absolutely. So just a fun fact, I lived in Reading from 2016 to 2019. I went to Simpson University. I went for a baseball scholarship. Unfortunately, never actually played because I was a little bit of a screw up. So, but I played for the Colt 45s. I worked at Everyday Fitness. So just really familiar with that area. Loved Reading, beautiful area. So glad to hear something's going on up there. So just really quick, why don't you guys go ahead and we'll start off with Alan and just give a little introduction to yourself, how long you've been into Bitcoin, kind of what attracts you to it, and what got you involved with the Reading Bitcoin Center.
Okay, hey, it's a fantastic place. Thanks for having us on, Shane. It's great to spend time with fellow-minded Bitcoiners. And I got into Bitcoin late in 2019. I bought $1,000 worth. It went down $300. I sold it. I got out of the space. I'm in fear. But then I got back in like many people. And slowly through 2020, I started buying slowly. And now I'm on a rant to improve. Buy Bitcoin every week. I dollar cost average. I have payroll, 3% payroll, automatic going to buy Bitcoin. And I love promoting Bitcoin, sharing with people I meet in my travels all about Bitcoin. If one believes Bitcoin will change the world and everybody should have some, then we should talk to everybody we meet about Bitcoin. So I have a ton of fun sharing with people. I travel a lot. So in my hotel shuttles, I'll offer the driver, Mr. Driver, I'm going to give you a tip for the shuttle today. And you have a decision to make. It may be the most difficult decision you have to make all day, but you can accept a Bitcoin tip or you can accept dollars. And I'm willing to give you both, happy to give you both or either, not both, either. But the difference is Bitcoin will be worth more tomorrow than it is today in the long run. And money and dollars will be worth less today. So to me, it's the easy decision. What do you like to do? And so maybe 10% will say, well, Bitcoin sounds cool. And so I'll ask if they have a virtual wallet. Most of them don't. So I introduce the Moon wallet. I give them some Bitcoin. I snap a quick picture after they have some Bitcoin. And I tell them, now you have some real money. So save it and buy some and learn more. Now you have a ticket to learn about Bitcoin. Absolutely. I found on the internet this meetup group. I said, wow, I got to go. And it was the Shasta Bitcoin Summit last September. I met some fantastic individuals, like-minded people. And so now every week when I'm in town, it's high on my calendar to go to the Reading Meetup Bitcoin group and hang out with these great guys. They are my mentors. I'm learning so much from these guys. It's amazing. And I'm listening to podcasts and reading books. It's a great space to be in. I love the utilitarianism of Bitcoin. I love the use cases where Bitcoin is currently changing the world. And I'm happy to share with other people. Here's what Bitcoin is doing all around the world, helping people out. I believe it is rescuing many people from a bad economy, a bad monetary system. And I'm just very happy to be in this space.
Absolutely. Do you drive down from Mount Shasta or?
No, I live actually Palisadro, 10 miles
Okay.
east of here, so to speak. So
Alrighty.
close enough to be here every time I get a chance.
Absolutely. About 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
less. I'm on a motorcycle, so it goes pretty fast.
I've done a few side jobs out in Palisadro.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then Jed, go ahead.
Cool. So my name is Jed Powers. Started the Reading Bitcoin Center. I've been in Bitcoin. I've read about it for a number of years, but I did the deep dive in 2017, and ever since I've been in it. Moved up here from the Bay Area last year. We've been coming up here on weekends for quite some time, and we just decided, it's time to quit the Bay Area, and we moved up here full time. I found the Reading Bitcoin meetup through Michael Atwood, who started it, I think, somewhere in 2020 or somewhere around there. And he's since moved on to Texas, so I've taken it over for him. I met Alan at the Bitcoin Summit last year, and that's where we hooked up. And then we started doing the meetups, and then we figured, hey, let's build a center here. So that's where Lauren and Alan have come in. They've been real helpful. We have the Bitcoin meetup. Usually it's Thursdays or Friday nights. Typically it's been at the Fall River Brewery. Right now they have line dancing on Thursdays, so we've switched it up. We've done it at Fratelli's Pizza, Fall River's Tap House. This coming Friday, we're going to do it again at Fratelli's. They have a room. They've got some video equipment and stuff that makes it really easy for doing demonstrations. There's food there, stuff like that. It's a room, so it's not really loud.
And it's only a block over.
Yeah, exactly. We can park at the Bitcoin Center and just walk over. So we have probably 120 people that are on our meetup group, but only 10, maybe 20 people come. It really depends on what the market's doing. If there's a bull market, a lot of people come, a lot of enthusiasm. Crypto winter, nobody comes. So, it's been pretty good. We had it last week at the Tap House. We had probably 5 to 8 new people come. So it's been great. We're trying to expand the community here. We're trying to get as many businesses to accept Bitcoin as possible. We're trying to educate the community and just facilitate adoption and education here. So that's my little bit of a backstory.
Right on. Lauren?
So you and I have more in common, Shane. I actually moved to Reading to attend Simpson College also.
Right on.
So I moved down here from Canada to attend Simpson. And
What part of Canada?
British Columbia, northern British Columbia. And
I was going to say I played some baseball too in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. So.
Oh yeah, by Saskatoon. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Spent some time fishing for northern pike. The locals call jack there, but yeah, it's a nice province to be from. Anyway, my Bitcoin story. Well, I was going to allude to the fact that I'm actually in Palisadro right now. I know Alan was saying he lives here. I also live in Palisadro, and I'm broadcasting right now from Palisadro. So Bitcoin for me was kind of a 3-touch thing where I needed to hear about it or touch it 3 times before it actually began to sink in. The first time I heard about Bitcoin was from my little nephew when he was mining it right out of the gate. I mean, it probably was, less than 2 years old, and he was not very good at explaining it to me. So he could never define mining to me where it made sense. Next, there were several years where I played poker. You could probably define it as professional poker playing, as I made a pretty healthy living doing it. In the process of poker, did a lot of online poker initially, and then they kind of rug pulled us where they made it hard to fund any of your accounts online using traditional banking means. So Bitcoin was one of the workarounds, and so a lot of us were either talking and or getting Bitcoin solely for that purpose. And then around 2016, 17, somewhere in there, I could go back and look and see when I actually made my first purchase. But I watched this movie. It's probably on Netflix called The Rise and Rise of Bitcoin. And that's when it really just hit me right in the face. I'm like, holy crap, this is a scarce asset. Like if what they're saying in this is true, that we're onto something. We can't replicate, we can't do. So that's what really made me dive into the old rabbit hole. And I think my motivation at that time was slanted and tainted because I was thinking, I was still thinking in terms of fiat, where I'm like measuring everything in the US dollar, thinking that's money. I want to make money. I want a Lamborghini, all that crap. But since I was a shit coiner, I bought all sorts of crap, and but since then, I went through the fork crap and all that other stuff, and but anyway, I wish I could have all the Bitcoin I had back at that time, because I look back a while back and I think the cheapest Bitcoin I bought was $900. But anyway, that's all lessons learned, and I've come down the whole path of being a toxic asshole where I'm just not nice to people, and I'm kind of at a point now where I really want to grow the Bitcoin network of human beings. You hear a lot about the Bitcoin network of technology and other things, but I think that it's important that we have a loving, kind, maybe inviting type of thing to new people, because I think this toxic Bitcoin stuff is a bit of a turnoff to a lot of newer folks. I mean, even my girlfriend's been kind of turned off by some of my toxic type behavior. So I'm kind of in a different place. And then meeting all these guys at the local Bitcoin center, where Bitcoin Jesus up here, Alan, flies all over the world, probably orange pills multiple people a day. What Alan does is amazing too, because he is, just offering tips, but that's their first touch. That's them actually having ownership in this network. It's going to be that gentle push. I mean, even if 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 10 of these people take that next step, because now they are part of the network, because of Bitcoin Jesus, Alan here has actually made them a part of the network, maybe they're going to go ahead and research more and learn for themselves what this is all about. So I like to call these guys brothers and hang out with them. We get excited. We meet once a week, like Jed said, and there's days where we're just chomping at the bit to get together because we can't wait to talk Bitcoin.
Absolutely. All right. And then, so for each of you guys, who's been a vital figure in your growth of gaining more knowledge in the Bitcoin space? And whoever wants to go first, and why, what aspect of it?
I'll jump in. I got to say, Michael Saylor is sort of riveting. You can't watch Michael Saylor and see his optimism, and not even so much the way he sees valuations hitting 1 million, 5 million, and going on forever, but just the characteristics he attributes to Bitcoin and the beauty of it. And I just love listening to Michael Saylor. I read some books like Why Buy Bitcoin? I start listening to is it Rex Friedman? I mean, great. He brings some great guests on, and so I don't necessarily have any one podcast I listen to the most, but I have to say Michael Saylor, and also I like Kevin O'Leary, who a few years ago was boo-hooing Bitcoin, and now acknowledges that with compliance will come sovereign fund managers from around the world pouring billions into Bitcoin. So listen to these people that have a depth of expertise, thinking, investing, much deeper than I am as far as thinkers. And I find a lot of comfort in knowing that I'm not way out on the limb with some random crazy guy trying to sell some token. So that's what does it for me.
Yeah, I'll chime in after you, Alan. I don't know if I can narrow it down to one person, because there's so many voices out there. And one of the things that really has hit me is the smartest minds that I've encountered on planet Earth are in this space. I mean, I know one day they'll be running the country, but if we had some of these people in places where we could actually make decisions when it came to the finances of the country or whatnot, the world would be a different place. Anyway, I have to make a list, because Saylor is right up there towards the top, as Alan mentioned. I love Lynn Alden. She's got a head on her shoulders. Her analysis of all things economy just blows my mind. I like my fellow countryman, Greg Foss. He's just been a huge inspiration to me. I want to get him on and chat with him with our local Bitcoin people, and I think we can make that happen. I'll list two more because this is probably the top if influential people in the space in my mind. Robert Breedlove, I know he's had some little trip ups with the whole BitClout incident and everything else, but if you look back at my Twitter, I was a complete jerk to him back then, and I went on and asked, I'm just like, sorry, man, because I was one of those guys just giving him a hard time. But hey, we all make mistakes. But I really like Breedlove's journey recently, especially. He's very philosophical too, so he's kind of like any of us, the search for meaning, truth, hope, love, connection, purpose. It feels like we're in a similar path and a similar walk, and I really appreciate that. And then I like Matt and Marty, both their things they do. Like I like the Citadel Dispatch. I like the help me out, Uncle Marty's
Tales
pod.
from the Crypt.
Yeah. And luckily I've been fortunate enough to have a fiat mind where I can just listen to pods for 8 to 10 hours a day, and it's just been soaking it in for thousands of hours. Like it's crazy because you hear the same people saying the same stories. Like I'm hearing a guy on a construction site like, I just listen to pods all day and soaking it in. So those are probably my top Bitcoin peeps.
Nice. Just for like podcasts and stuff like that, I like everything you just said. Preston Pish with the Investors Podcast, Adam Carolla, who is the godfather of podcasting. I like Saifedean. I like Saylor. But if I have to go pick who put me into this space, that's Andreas Antonopoulos. As far as I'm concerned, one of the greatest minds and one of the most generous individuals when it comes to his content. You can get everything for free. If you don't have money, contact him. He'll send you books. So I would have to say the OGs are who really got me into it. And I hate to say this now, but Roger Ver was one of the people that got me into this before all the forks and that.
Before you turned into a shitcoiner.
Yeah, Charlie Shrem went to prison, got out. He's still doing it. These are the people that I follow, and those are the people that had the original visions that, got me into it and brought me to where I am.
I think you mean Adam Curry.
You're right, Curry. Adam Curry. I said
not
Carolla.
Adam
You're right.
Carolla.
Yeah. Curry. Adam Curry. Correct.
Right on.
Yeah.
And then, so when you're trying to orange pill new people, what aspect of Bitcoin do you try to hit them with? Is it the scarcity aspect of 21 million? Is it, the scalability across the globe? What aspect is your favorite approach to try to hit somebody new?
My favorite approach is look at what's going on right now. Look at the devaluation of your dollar. Look at they're printing this money just into oblivion. If you or I did it, we'd go to prison, but they're allowed to do it. Inflation is defined as adding to the monetary supply, right? And that's what they're doing. You don't think goods and services are going to go up in price? So that's what I tell people. Look how much your dollar is getting you today versus a couple years ago. This is going to continue. Now you can get this scarce asset that you can hold yourself that nobody can take from you. Now, one of the things that we do is my wife has a small business in Russia. Well, SWIFT system doesn't work anymore. So how do we get the money out? We just have it sent in the form of Bitcoin.
Right on.
So it's a use case for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like what Jed said there. I think it's tough because you kind of got to judge the audience, because I've definitely driven people away, definitely done the get the soapbox out, and after a few beers in me at the at the family camp out or something, where I just go on and actually end up pushing people away. But I've taken a page out of Bitcoin Jesus's book up there, Alan, where a lot of the time you can kind of judge too if you see somebody glazed over or where they're at, not interested, they think you're trying to sell them a bill of goods. But if we're just trying to introduce people to the network, sometimes it's as simple as just giving them a tip in Bitcoin, which is something that Alan excels at. But if it really depends on the audience, because there's, like you said, so many use cases. So I guess the use case in the scenario of tipping is, hey, you know what? Hold on to this. We're going to give you $5. hold on to it. Don't just go trade it in for a coffee or something, but hold on to this and see what it'll do. And then, encourage them to go ahead and don't take my word for it, but this is the future. So give them a little nudge in that direction. I think, unfortunately, the Americans a lot of the time are still products of the current system where they think in fiat. They don't realize what's coming, like Jed was alluding to, the whole economic fiasco. And it seems like a lot of the people that are turning to Bitcoin are people that see that and are going, oh crap, how am I going to protect my value? So all the myriad of different use cases, it's tough to even I guess sell is not a good word, but that's kind of what we're doing. But to even give Bitcoin away, I think the third world trumps us in a lot of respects of Bitcoin adoption, because it is being used there as a money and whatnot, and that's just a harder way. Like, a lot of people just glaze when you try to use that use case.
And because with new people, it's like, I just want to spit out all these things because there's so many great things about Bitcoin.
Right.
And it's just like, oh, damn it, I just overwhelmed you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
And to expand upon what he's saying, Lauren is saying, is it really depends on your audience. So if I'm going to explain Bitcoin to just the average Joe that comes to a Bitcoin meetup, it's going to be different than I explain it to a business owner on why they want to accept it. So it's a little bit different. You're talking to a business, you're going to tell them, hey, transaction fees are a lot cheaper. There's all these other things. It's just as fast as a credit card, maybe even faster if you're using Lightning. You control it. You can put a Bitcoin wallet in there. It'll be sent to you. So it's a little different when we're talking to businesses. And also, if you've got a little bit of Bitcoin knowledge, we're not going to start out telling you what a newbie would tell a newbie, right? Mm-hmm. So it all really depends on your audience.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, I love the use cases of Bitcoin. So typically, I like to tell people, when possible, I transact in Bitcoin. So in my hometown, I have paid for motorcycle repairs. I've paid my chiropractor. I've been to Safeway. I've used a Bitcoin to buy a gift certificate to Safeway at Home Depot. I've been to a restaurant, paid for my meals. And then I've actually sent Bitcoin to Myanmar, to friends in Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala. So I like to see, I've sent Bitcoin for people to buy medicine. I say, wow, this is the cheapest, easiest way to send money without permission. Come to truckers in Canada. I sent Bitcoin to help the truckers. We sent Bitcoin from our local meetup group to Ukraine to help with the efforts for the poor people who are being the refugees displaced in Ukraine. So I love the ability to send Bitcoin in very small units. I like to educate people about its availability. It's being adopted all over the world. When I went to El Salvador last November to the Adopting Bitcoin conference, I paid for taxis, T-shirts, meals, beer. It was incredible to see the use of Bitcoin. I'll see somebody post something on Twitter. I'll send them a tip on Twitter and say, hey, that was good stuff. Thanks. So I like to encourage people to use Bitcoin. Yes, I want to save it. When I give away Bitcoin, typically I'll give it away through the Strike app, where I can take dollars, and through a transaction, at the point of transaction, they receive Bitcoin. So I tell them, I want to keep my Bitcoin, but I want to transact in Bitcoin. And so I just love the beauty of Bitcoin for that reason. I mean, for many reasons, but that's maybe the biggest reason I share with people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, so now to start talking about the Reading Bitcoin Center, whoever wants to just kind of start talking about it and just how long it's been going on. You kind of started getting into it, Jed. So if you just want to elaborate on that a little bit more, and just the structure of the meetup, and just touch that up a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah, we started the Reading Bitcoin Center. I think we started renovating in January. So it's only been open for a couple of months. It's open for a couple of days a week until we can get more people, wanting to be onboarded, more people wanting classes, stuff like that. So typically we use the Reading Bitcoin meetup to vet people to come in here, because I just don't want to open the doors here to everybody. Typically people coming in, I just don't want to advertise, hey, come on in. I am here 2 days a week for walk-ins, but you got to vet people a little bit when you're bringing them into your private business and stuff. So that's what we use the Reading Center, the Reading meetup for. And like I said, there's about 120 people. So we've got a handful of people, Lauren, Alan, and a couple other people that have been helping build this out, helping get the word out there. So main thing that we're trying to do is bring adoption and education to the residents here and to the businesses. One of our main focuses in the last few months has been transitioning from the community to more to businesses. As we figure, if you come into a business and you see a Bitcoin sign there, you're gonna start thinking about it more. We have signs out front here, Reading Bitcoin Center, so that's going to get the, you're talking about the 3 touches. You're seeing it, you're going into a restaurant, they accept it, now you get to kind of thinking. We try to use all the businesses here that accept Bitcoin. So there's coffee houses that accept it. There's the local barbecue place accepts it. So we try to create this community around us that are all like-minded people. We all believe the same thing. We're all good people. We don't have to trust. We verify everything. Bitcoin wallets will tell you if what you're sending me is truly Bitcoin. So there's really no lying. So that's what we're trying to do, is just create this community here. And we use our Bitcoin meetup for that. We use this for education here. We do the podcasts. So yeah, we're just trying to bring education and hopefully have any businesses that are wanting to adopt Bitcoin.
You need to go hit up Larry Fuqua over at Everyday Fitness and tell him Shane Coates says what's up, and just start talking to them about Bitcoin.
What's his name again?
Larry Fuqua, Fuqua. He's the owner.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely do that.
They're just, it's they're the type of business that you want to look for, a locally owned business. There definitely seem to be more the freedom fighters kind of thing. During COVID, I remember following them on Instagram and seeing, they were definitely trying to be kind of one of the more once open more sooner. And generally people like that are more, freedom fighters in a way. And so definitely hit them up, and you never know what'll happen. Start accepting gym memberships. So the ultimate proof of work money, and then you get to do the proof of work on your bodies.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great point, Shane, because there are a lot of freedom fighters up here in our neck of the woods in Northern California. We've had the red, white. Yeah, exactly. And then we've had the red, white, and blueprint. You can look it up on. Yeah. Have you see that? Yeah. Yep. I actually went to Simpson with Carlos, and so he's one of my buddies. But there's a lot of these people we could really pitch the sovereignty aspect of Bitcoin in that regard. So that's a great point. I also wanted to. I know I'm echoing what Jed said, but I wanted to give a shout out to our homie Michael Atwood, the father of the Oshi app and the OG Reading Bitcoin guy. So like Jed said, he pretty much kicked this whole thing off here, and Jed's kind of picked up the helm. Folks like Alan and I are a little bit handicapped with what we can do because we're doing the fiat mine, which, eventually I would like to just switch right out of the old fiat mine and put all my efforts and energies into, bolstering the Bitcoin network. But we do what we can. I mean, Jed's done an amazing job in the actual center. He set up podcast studios. There's a big screen. There's all sorts of educational info. I mean, he almost needs to go through and do a little video walkthrough of it at some point just to post how cool it is, because it's a pretty awesome place for us. So I think we're pretty lucky when it comes to a lot of other towns that don't have anything. We actually even had somebody drive up from Chico last Friday to hang out with us because there's nothing like this in Chico. So hopefully this will be a little ripple. I know you guys are doing similar things in Tennessee, and there's other little pockets of ripples going here and there. So hopefully we can do our part here and make our ripple grow.
Yeah, you guys also need to try to get in contact with Texas Slim and start like a California beef initiative going on there, especially with Oregon and everything around you. Might be something interesting, especially they're looking for people who have more of a center. And if you guys got your own building, like how Nashville or the Bitcoin Commons in Austin does, Texas Slim might be somebody you guys want to hook up with. He came and he was driving through Knoxville, and he stopped by and just, wow, what fascinating information he, presented to us, and just really gets your eye open, and just what a great time for the beef initiative to kind of be meddling in with Bitcoin through all this. Just we're seeing such a decentralization of everything. So we need to definitely start doing it with our food as well. So definitely get in contact with him about that.
Yeah, that's awesome that you bring that up too. And I think actually he is really good friends with Michael because I think they've gone out and pounded the pavement together. So we do have an in there too. So that's a great suggestion. I think we definitely need to follow up on.
I'll set up a little Twitter DM with you guys and Slim, and just get the ball rolling for you. See what you can do if you're interested. So.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
In fact, I think all three of us probably already follow Texas Slim, and we've seen him on podcasts with Michael, with the Tales from the Crypt. Does great stuff. In fact, just this morning, I was talking with a local small-time rancher. I was telling him about Texas Slim, about the regenerative farming practices that are coming back, the desire to leave the whole globalized meat producer world and start working one-on-one. So I know a couple of small guys that may have 10 to 20 cattle. I'm hoping to get into this whole Bitcoin space. So if we could set up a meeting with Texas Slim, I would try and get a couple of guys to come in and listen. That would be awesome.
Absolutely. We'll see what we can do. Yeah. So you guys got you got your own little building essentially, right? And everything. So yeah, that's something I started the Knoxville Bitcoin Network. I didn't call it the Knoxville Bitcoin Meetups because I want to do more than just have meetups. I want to essentially do what you guys are doing, what they're doing in Nashville and Austin as well, because there's so much more to do than just meetups. Meetups could be the door in, like you're saying, it's vet people, whatever. But to provide, an educational experience for people is what I'm looking out to do. I'm not necessarily looking to do some kind of social gathering. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoy the relationships that I've been gaining, but what an awesome thing that you guys are doing as far as building a location for it. And, it's just going to be awesome to see, for the first few countries adopting Bitcoin, we got the first few cities, and hopefully Reading starts picking up, getting more traction here because places like Austin and Nashville are getting a lot more now. So I feel like the West Coast gets slept on a little bit more with all the action going on out here.
No, that's all good.
For sure.
In fact, the adoption, the knowledge. I love the group called My First Bitcoin, Mi Primer Bitcoin in El Salvador, and the education they're putting out there for the students in El Salvador, where they have I think it's 6 or 10 week classes with graduation certificates. And so I'm hoping to meet some of those folks down in El Salvador. I meet a lot of people on my travels that are Spanish speaking, and I dabble in Spanish. So just today, we made our second YouTube tutorial in Spanish. We'll be broadcasting pretty much just Bitcoin basics from zero. And so today we introduced one of my former Spanish teachers in Guatemala to Bitcoin. She downloaded her Moon wallet. We put some money in. And the next time we meet, I'm hoping to connect her with Ibex Mercado through Guatemala. And I see all these dots being connected. It is amazing what's happening in the whole Bitcoin space. So we are very fortunate to be part of the early adoption of Bitcoin. I always applaud Jed as the visionary behind this center. I mean, he has pushed us into being excited. No, we're excited, but he has helped make it so much easier to talk about Reading. And people say, "Oh, I saw that building as I drove by." And so it really puts us on the map. Michael Atwood has done a great job, starting out. I mean, if we're not for Michael Atwood, I probably might not be here today. So the fact that now you have Chico, people want to have a meetup. It's a great avenue to spread the good news about Bitcoin.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll add to what Alan said, which is, if it weren't for Jed and this actual physical building, like you were mentioning, Shane, our ability to actually reach even beyond Reading is huge. I mean, this is my third podcast today. This is all three of our second. We actually did a podcast with Cedric from the Bitcoin Matrix. And I wouldn't even have thought about this stuff, but these guys are all charged up and they're like, man, we love Bitcoin. And I'm like, I love Bitcoin. And so next thing you know, Jed's got like mics and, green screens and like killing the sound bouncing off the walls stuff. And next thing you know, we're like, so he's provided us a means where we can actually communicate with other human beings, beyond even Reading. And it's been amazing because when we did the Cedric podcast, somebody reached out to us. You guys, what book did he author again? His name was Jake, and he authored
Bitcoin and Exponential Freedom by Jake Leary.
So we just talked to him earlier, and he's in England. He's over on the Isle of Man right now because he's trying to escape they still have some lockdown, weird COVID stuff going on in England. So he's over on the Isle of Man, but he wrote the book, and it's like, it doesn't matter where are you from. Oh yeah, try again because your green screen is there. It is. He wrote that book right there. Anyway, we were able to talk to him earlier today, and all of these things. I just like literally 30 seconds before I jammed on here with you guys, I talked to Stephen Newdorf in Canada. It's crazy. He taught at the school I went to. Like, it's a small world. He owns a big financial company up there right now and is a giant Bitcoin guy. It's crazy. So, our ability to grow the network hopefully extends beyond just this local area, this local market, but that's primarily our focus. And that's primarily what we're doing, all these podcasts and gathering all this information and, growing our local network. But we can still reach out now that we have the ability to via podcasting and other things that the center has provided. And we, owe a debt of gratitude to Jed. But once again, we're a little limited by time.
Jed, have any of you guys ever gone to the city and talked about like the city mining Bitcoin at all or anything along those lines?
No, I actually have somebody that works for the power company, the Reading Electric Utility, that I've been talking to. Was it you that I was talking to about?
Yeah,
okay, so yes, and so you know what? It's so hard getting some of these guys to get back with you or I figured for him, it should be easy. He goes to work and he talks to somebody and says, hey, I got some people that want to talk to you about building a Bitcoin mine or something, but I don't know what the deal is. It's so hard to get people. You really need somebody like Cynthia Loomis or Caitlin Long, somebody who really understands this, who's in a position that could help, right? I don't think there's anybody at the city who probably even knows about Bitcoin. They're all just on their own. It's crazy. I don't know, but that's
Sounds
part
like
of the
job
thing.
for the Reading Bitcoin Center.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll get somebody elected.
We're
going to nominate Alan.
Yeah,
I second that.
See, no, Alan is our decentralization, right? We have a physical center here, but he's traveling around. So he's doing the decentralization for us while we stay here, try to get the businesses on, residents, all of that good stuff. So that's where Alan comes in. He's flying all the time, talking to people, giving them the moon wallet, telling them about the Bitcoin Center, about our Bitcoin meetups and stuff like that. So fully decentralize everything in your life. Let's not just talk about people that are next door to us about Bitcoin, but let's go outside of that and educate people as well.
Absolutely. So you guys said you have meetups every week, correct?
Correct.
What's been like the attendee count? I think it's just after kind of talking with a few meetup organizers, just getting going. And just to put it in perspective, not every meetup's a huge meetup. And I think kind of new organizers, if they ever listen to these, I just want them to, not get down on themselves. There's a lot of meetups running on 5 to 10 people.
Yes.
And so kind of just give a little perspective of that, the age range, and is it mostly people who are, into Bitcoin, or how many new people you guys get out there?
Well, we'll just talk about last week's meetup. We probably had 5 to 8 new people come, along with all of us, the handful of regulars that come. I would say, like I said earlier, if we're in a bull market, more people come, more newbies come. Once we're in a little winter, less people come. I would say the age range is anywhere from barely able to drink to, Dick, who's one of our main guys at the Bitcoin meetup, he's in his 70s, and Martin is another guy. He's in his 70s, so the age range is from 20s to 70s.
That's what's crazy about traveling around to meetups is, you think like, oh, computer money and stuff. And, the older generations may not be into it. But like the Nashville meetup, man, it's unbelievable. There's a good amount of, wide variety of age differences there. And, I got a blue alert. What is that?
Right below red.
Yeah, so it's really cool to see all kinds of different ages get involved. My meetup here, older gentleman traveling from out of town to our meetup. Like, that's pretty freaking cool that this guy, found us on the internet. He's not on Twitter or nothing, but luckily he's still able to get a hold of us, and he traveled to come hang out with us. And it's just, most people have this general idea of what Bitcoiners are. And when you start going out to meetups, start getting in the real world, start seeing people outside of their pseudos and everything, you start realizing that it's a lot more normal people and all kinds of different age ranges.
Yeah.
So Shane, I'm curious, what is your main method of communicating to your group? Is it like Telegram or is it Twitter? How do you communicate to your members?
For the most part, everybody's on Twitter. Twitter and meetups, the meetup app, it seems like most people, if they aren't on Twitter, they find out through there. So just after living in California, seeing the meetup app be popular out there, and then moving out here and seeing all the places out here using it, it just kind of seems like it's a Bitcoin thing. So
right.
I started Telegram. I only got a couple on there, not really any. So yeah, it's mainly just those two for the most part, but we're working on a website and everything too. And I wanted to do this podcast as another like branch off of our Knoxville Bitcoin network. And I still want it to be kind of like linked with it. And I hope soon my buddies and co-organizers will hop on here with me one of these days. But, like what you guys are doing, what Nashville is doing, having a center and where you could do so many different things, like a classroom setting and everything. That's a goal. That should be the standard for a lot of these Bitcoin meetups starting to go with time. Be patient. It's not going to happen overnight. But man, that's just, that's a goal. That's what I want. And I hope to provide that to Knoxville and make Tennessee a stronger Bitcoin hub.
Yeah. Great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So just to touch on that a little bit, we do the meetup website as well. We put the stuff on Twitter, but then anybody that comes that's new, we try to get them on our Telegram. So then what I'll do during the week is I'll tell people, hey, we're meeting, Friday night at Fratelli's Pizza. And then like the day before or even the day, I'll send out a message just because people forget, you got a bunch of stuff going on in life. And it's kind of nice if you get that notification, you're like, oh, Bitcoin meetups tonight, and so that's kind of what we use. So
I know I'm trying to work because I get reminders from the Nashville group that they're, I'm like, man, how do I do that to the email to where people get emails or something? But
if you're doing it on Meetup, it's pretty easy. You can put it on. You can send it to all the followers that are on Meetup.
Okay, I think I'm doing it, but I'm not too sure. I don't know. Time will tell. But
yeah,
man, it's a lot of work doing the networking in between meetups and trying to. I get these little business cards made with QR codes to connect with us, and I'll put them in stalls. I'll put them, in windows. I'll put them on bathroom or on restaurant tables. Mm-hmm. Just trying to do whatever, and it's just man, it's crazy. But how rewarding it is, like, oh, I came across you on here. It's like, okay, cool. At least I'm not wasting my time doing that. It is some purpose behind it.
Yeah, and you're reaching people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
that's the goal.
I find through Twitter, there's a great Bitcoin sphere through Twitter, and I found the Charlotte meetup group. And so in my travels, I knew I'd be traveling through Charlotte. I reached out to them, and they did not have an event planned, but they made an event and invited me to
Awesome.
come. And we spent an awesome evening. There was maybe 10 or 12 people from Charlotte came out to have a little meetup group impromptu. And so I've stayed in touch. So we use Telegram. They have a Telegram group. So I want to read you a post I put on their group text just a couple days ago. Okay. This is actually a challenge I threw out to the Charlotte Bitcoin group. And I'm going to throw it out to you for you to have your group consider. Okay. And it says, hello, my friends in the Bitcoin Charlotte meetup group. I proposed an idea last night in our Redding, California meetup group to throw out a friendly challenge to some of other area meetup groups. With July 4th, Independence Day, right around the corner, maybe we have a contest to spur our members to step up their efforts to Orange Pill friends and contacts on the first 4 days of July and see which group can proportionally add the most new Bitcoiners, as evidenced by a quick picture with the new person. We could base it on the number of members in our respective Telegram group. Just an idea. We could sell the idea of Bitcoin as freedom money, gaining us independence from our unsound, failing fiat currency. Anyone in your group interested to have a better idea? Let's have some fun and increase our outreach while the price is low, right? And so they're kicking it around. Liz, that sounds like a great idea. So anyway, I'll have Jed text you that message from our Telegram, and maybe your local folks might say, sure, let's take the first 4 days of July, and let's see how many people we can orange pill selling, or not selling, but giving away freedom, financial, and independence money. It's a great opportunity to find something that we hold dear to ourselves as our independence, our freedom. And I just one small way to maybe promote Bitcoin, and maybe we don't do the pictures, but at least we can trust members. Say, okay, I've got 10 people from my group. We have 30 members, so here's proportionally we can figure out, have a little fun in the process doing it. That's why I asked you what how do you disseminate information, or is there a group like Telegram? But that's just an idea for you.
Absolutely. No, I'll definitely give that a go. So every day is a challenge to orange pill people. So whether I'm being challenged or not, I'm going to be trying to do it.
Okay, cool.
What are your goals for the group going forward? What more would you guys like to do at the Reading Bitcoin Center? Obviously you're probably not settled with where you're at now. So moving forward, what are you guys looking forward to do and bringing to Reading?
Continuing what we're doing, just educating people and try to get as many businesses on board. That's the main goal, to get as many people into the Reading Bitcoin Center to be educated. We do a little concierge service if you need your hand held to show you how to get on an exchange, all the way down to putting it on your hardware wallet and securing it yourself. We do a little something like that, but most everything we do is free education, and we use our group, like I said, to vet people and see if they're really what they say they are before we invite them in here. We've had a lot of people come to the group talking about shit coins, and it's like, sorry, but this is a Bitcoin meetup. If you want, you can start your own meetup, So we just vet people, because we don't want people coming in here that we've told people are okay, and then they try to scam them or something. There's a bunch of that stuff. So Absolutely. We're just trying to get as many people on as we can and just try to educate people, because that's where it all starts.
Yeah, I think we want to grow the network, and by the network in this context, I mean the number of people in our group, the number of people that are exposed to and want to opt into the Bitcoin network and opt out of the current dying fiat network. So that's our goal, in addition to creating quality content specifically for locals. But if we can actually expand that, and I mean, even if 5 years from now people hear content that we've created in the next year or so, and that has an impact on saving somebody from the current fiat insanity, then that's all we want. We're not out here trying to get paid. We just want to grow the network. So all of us have had this conversation with other members of the group, but for sure the three of us are on the same page when it comes to what are we doing? Why are we here? What's our mission statement? We want to grow the network. And for me especially, it's been you know, I don't know, this last couple of weeks, it's been, man, I've not focused on the human element of this enough. Like, I want to grow people, the people network, you know, and these kinds of things help. I know we're all Bitcoiners here, but when we talk and exchange ideas, we're strengthening each other. We're adding value to each other's lives. We're growing the network in this capacity, not just adding new people, but anytime we're reaching out to somebody in England, in Canada, and we're growing the Bitcoin network. So that's also part of the goal of the local center and our local meetup, as I see it.
And you know, have any of you guys met like a crappy like Bitcoin maxi? You know, most Bitcoin maxis
Never.
are carrying. What was that?
Never.
Yeah, like imagine if this world was filled with Bitcoin maxis. What kind of world we'd be living in? Like,
oh man,
it's that
Utopia.
that generational wealth video, that like 14-minute video. And man, that just gives me chills because like, you know, it's so real that can be a possibility for our future if we get a bunch of people understanding what we just went through with our current financial system and what Bitcoin does, you know, to people. Like, oh man, just, you know, that's a dream that I want. When I was living in Reading, I was kind of going down a bad path, and you know, the homeless up there was really bad. And I just remember looking around like, man, life isn't meant to be this way. You know, what is it that's making it like this? And just life went on. I kept doing my thing, and just life wasn't making sense. And then COVID happened, and then my mom kind of woke me up, got me going down the political rabbit hole. And then, but the thing, as much as I was tied into all that, I kept thinking to myself, like, I'd follow the money and that, you know, where the money was going, what it was going to, and everything. I was like, well, unless I have a ton of money, I'm not going to be able to make a change. And unless the money's fixed, like, you know, and then my buddy, we were talking about January 6th, but on the 5th, and he was like, oh, Bitcoin's going to love it. And I was like, what? And that's when I first heard about it. So still new, but man, just the people that I've met, I've people driving through Knoxville, and I've stopped and met with them and had no idea who they were. But I mean, just had a really nice dinner, just great, you know, really great people. And just, man, yeah, the human aspect of it, fix the money, fix the world. And, you know, what a world we'll live in.
Man, Shane, I agree so wholeheartedly. It's crazy because I'm thinking, how can our minds think so similarly? But I'm thinking this won't last forever. It's more of the early adopters that are kind of on the same page, because they're out there with the whole mindset of actually being intellectually curious and actually seeking truth and seeking meaning and seeking purpose and all these things. And when you mentioned like the homeless people, I thought the same thing as you. I was like, these people have hopelessness. And that's what you see when you see a lot of the streets here in California, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, San Francisco, right here in Reading. And it's like, there's no meaning. There's no purpose. It's hopeless. And one of the things that unites us all, of the many things I should say, is, you know, the meaning, the purpose, the hope, the ability to see and to have truth and to find that, hey, we found a value system where we're not going to get screwed by some central party. We're not going to have our time stolen from us. We're not going to have our value manipulated and taken. And we all see that. And it's super encouraging. I mean, like when I first signed on here, that's why I was all jazzed up. I just talked to a guy. I felt like we were brothers from another mother. And we are, you know, I was just excited. I was just jacked up because we are like, the future looks bright again.
Absolutely. So just final things to kind of wrap it up here. What are final thoughts on the Bitcoin space? Are there any projects or events that you're looking forward to coming up? And then just another last opportunity to kind of show your group some.
I got cut off.
Multiplicity. What the heck is going on here? Oh, that freaks me out.
It killed my computer. My computer shut off.
Sorry.
So who we got here?
That's the same guy as the bottom left corner on my screen.
Oh,
yeah,
that just tripped my. I'm like, whoa, multiplicity in real life.
Complete different person.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. So yeah.
I'll let the tag
just,
team go first.
So what's the
do I need
question
to repeat
again?
the question or you?
Yeah, repeat the question.
Please.
So what are there any? Just to kind of wrap it up, are there any projects or events that you're looking forward to in the Bitcoin space? What are what kind of hypes you up, gets you bullish, and just a last chance to kind of shill your group?
Alan's the one that pretty much goes to all the events outside of here, so he can tell you about all the stuff he's got planned. Probably 3 conferences this year.
But any projects, any apps or anything that you're looking forward to coming out? I'm pumped on Spiral's Lightning Developing Kit. The day that comes out, and just to think Lightning and the transformation that's making, and just kind of how complicated it's been to get going. Mm-hmm. And I mean, for me, for a non-technical person, learning my node and the Lightning process, it wasn't necessarily easy. So something easy like the Lightning Developing Kit, making that whole transacting easier is something that, gets me hyped up.
Yeah, we get hyped up. Lauren runs his own node. I have one. It's offline right now because I lost user interface. But that's one thing we're talking about, is having a build here in the center, getting a few people, vetting them through the Reading Bitcoin group, bringing them into the center, and then having maybe even record it too and post it up. Get people running their own node.
Mm-hmm. So maybe that can be our next challenge, is node challenge instead of the.
Yeah, so maybe this kit that Shane speaks of is a better way to do this. Because I am still waiting to build my node. And
well, it has nothing to do with the node. It's
okay.
It's like
I'm about to learn.
With how Moon Wallet, it can scan either on-chain or Lightning. It'll make it that, because have you used Blue Wallet before?
Yeah.
So Blue Wallet, you got to kind of interact with both on-chain and Lightning, and for newer people, that's not necessarily easy. So Cash App, if you're going to be sending Bitcoin, you can scan either on-chain or Lightning, and it'll determine what it is itself. So it has nothing to do with the node. I'm all for people learning how to build their own nodes and everything. That's a good idea as well. Have a little workshop like that, maybe out in the future, 3 months ahead of time. That way people could plan and buy them. Not to mention if shipping is an issue. So that'd be something definitely interesting to do in the future.
We also have been talking about and are getting ready to pull the trigger on our, we've delayed the grand opening, but as you know, having lived here for so long, that we are in the middle of a hot summer. So, but we're going to have food trucks, and we've got a big old flat place right next to the center where we can host an event. We do get-togethers outside of the traditional meet. We've all went over and barbecued at Alan's place. Alan has the man, as Jed mentioned, he's going to be hitting up the Bit Block Boon and a couple other events, which I really like the idea of networking and shaking hands. Additionally, for me anyway, growing the network is the number one. But I personally, on a personal level, would like to just go ahead and parlay things like this and doing Bitcoin work into some sort of way to a career or monetize, so that I don't have to go do the fiat thing anymore, where it feels empty and meaningless and hopeless, and instead do something like this where it feels like I'm actually changing the world and providing hope for the future and providing, good. Maybe this is a way we can actually get people off the streets and give people hope and give people purpose. So on a personal level, that's what, the direction I'd like to point. And I think the things we're starting to do at the Bitcoin Center are pushing us in that direction.
Well, from experience too, let me tell you, try to leave that fiat mining job. And man, I did that. I left Bakersfield, California 3 months ago to work with grid infrastructure, and just working with Bitcoin every single day. It is a pinch me moment every day when I'm pulling on the job site, and I've left everything to come out here, all my family and everything, but I just knew the path that I was going down. I'm just like, man, this is too hard for me to get going here in California. I dug myself too big of a hole. So Now that I'm in the Bitcoin space, like it's just crazy the fact that to look back. So, big supporter of that. By all means, go for it. Go for it hard.
That's seriously when I was playing poker. I remember when I first started, I was like, every plane that left to Vegas, and my heart was yearning to be on that airplane. And now I hear you tell stories like that, and I'm like, I want on.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time.
Absolutely. But yeah,
actually, I'm not looking forward to leaving my fiat job. My fiat job allows me to travel a lot, and I'm having so much traveling, meeting people I couldn't afford to do on my own. So I think it's for me, it's a great tool to introduce people to Bitcoin. So
well, if your fiat job isn't making you want to bang your head in the in the wall every day, then it can't be too bad.
But cool.
Yeah. Well, other than that, just thank you guys for coming on. It's great meeting with you. Awesome to see somewhere where I used to live, having Bitcoiners do some actionable work out there. So just one last time, how do we get a hold of you for anybody interested, and how do we look out for you?
You can reach me out through Jed. Go ahead.
We're here at the Reading Bitcoin Center at 1819 Court Street. We also do our Reading Bitcoin weekly meetup. You can go to meetup.com, see where we are that day or that week. And yeah, you can reach us through there. You can reach us at Reading Bitcoin Center at Twitter at Bitcoin Reading. You can obviously, Alan and Lauren, they'll give you their contact info as well. Go ahead, Alan.
It's great. No, it's great. I have Pursuing Freedom is my Twitter. I believe I love the whole freedom aspect of Bitcoin and motorcycling, and where there's a lot of intersections in life where we have a lot of freedom. I mean, my faith, a lot of freedom in my faith. So I love meeting people and talking about freedom, and Bitcoin's high up on the list. It's a great place to meet people and share.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I also share in Alan's excitement, and this Lauren Hoddle is my tag on Twitter. Don't scroll back too far because you'll find one of those toxic jerks.
Well, thank you guys for coming on, and we'll definitely have to keep in touch as we both move forward in our journeys. I'm going to say a couple things, and then I'll catch up with you here in a sec, but thanks for coming. All right, and that's all we got today for the Hard Money, Hard Knocks Bitcoin podcast with Reading Bitcoin Center. So thanks for joining us. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on Twitter, Knoxville Bitcoin Network, or Hard Money, Hard Knocks, Telegram, Knoxville Bitcoin Network. And then we will be back on Saturday with the Bay Area Bitcoiners at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So thank you. Have a good night. Hodl strong.